Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. Thanks so much for dropping by. I got a comment um, that I found very interesting. Um, do 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 do. So this person mentioned three different teachers, um, all of whom different people look to as non-duality teachers. And so my response to this person is well, I'm just gonna share hi to my live viewer. I'm just gonna share where I'm at with non-duality. So first of all, I'm not interested in non-duality anymore. I'm interested in qualified non-duality. But I know that some people are drawn to non-duality, and I namaste to anyone who's drawn to that. And but I still reflect on it. I still reflect on non-duality, and I still have an interest in having an accurate understanding of the non-dual tradition and the non-dual perspective, partially to complete my own journey with it, and partially so I can help other people who are into it. Um, and so, what I'm going to say to this person who wrote this comment, but also just to anyone who's interested in non-duality, is be careful. Any teacher who does not Any teacher who doesn't teach the prerequisites for self-inquiry, and those prerequisites are quite strenuous. Any teacher who spends all of their time teaching groups of people about the practice of self-inquiry or the philosophy of consciousness and your true nature is Neo-Advaita. So if that's all the person talks about, if they teach self-inquiry to the masses and they teach um, they talk about, "Oh, there is no person and your true nature this, and you are not the mind that." If they just go on and on and on about it without teaching the prerequisites, they are teaching Neo-Advaita. For me, I consider them dangerous. I won't even think about them. I won't read a single sentence that they've written. All I'm interested in terms of non-duality, I just look to Adi Shankara. I look to Ramana with a certain perspective, a certain lens, and I look to the Bhagavad Gita. So I won't mess around. Neo-Advaita is dangerous. The very person who wrote this comment, they pointed out that it almost brought them to a nervous breakdown. So that's where I'm at. I'm not interested in what this person said or this person said. I've shared that I personally have found one of James Schwartz's books very helpful um, in and his teaching is grounded in the teachings of because his teaching is grounded in the Gita and grounded in Shankara. I've just become a snob, but it's not really a snob. I'm just sick and tired of it. I want the real thing. I want to understand the real deal. And that's what I consider the real deal. Adi Shankara, the Gita, and Ramana Maharshi with a certain caveat, which I'll mention in a moment. I consider everything else commentary, and a lot of it very dangerous commentary. Non-duality is not a do-it-yourself thing. And that's one of the problem with all these Neo-Advaita teachers is they're like, "Oh, just inquire," or da da da. Like you absolutely need to be qualified, and you absolutely need a guru. No, us 99.9% of the population. I'm sure there are some people who don't. Um, 1 out of 1,000 or something, or 1 out of 10,000. But yeah, I I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not I'm not enlightened. By the way, I meant to start off this video. Please don't believe anything I say, but find out for yourself. And please don't believe anything that anyone says, especially a teacher who goes around teaching self-inquiry or goes around talking about there is no self or you are not the mind or da 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 da, who just talks about non-duality. So the caveat for Ramana Maharshi is that most of what he taught was one-on-one teachings. He didn't teach for groups. He would talk to one person and then other people would write it down. And there's a bigger picture. He didn't talk about it often, but he did talk about the prerequisites for self-inquiry. So that's how and most people ignore that, and that's how Ramana has been turned into a Neo-Advaita teacher. Just inquire, you are the self. That wasn't his main teaching. That was what he would teach to some people, sometimes. Maybe it was what he said most often, maybe. But if you read the book, uh, Talks with Ramana Maharshi, you'll see a very wide range of teaching and topics. Sometimes deep philosophical conversations, sometimes talking about bhakti, sometimes cutting a joke, sometimes referring to this scripture, sometimes silence. So, hi to my two live viewers. Thank you so much for dropping by. Hope this is helpful. And I'm kind of like Adi Shankara or bust. It all comes down to Shankara because he taught it systematically. I love Ramana, but he wasn't systematic. He just met individuals. Well, actually, he did write one book, which the only systematic writing that he wrote, which no one wants to read. I've said it, I've shared it 100 times, and people like to chant it, but no one wants to practice it because you have to start with karma yoga, and no one wants to start with karma yoga. And then they just want to go to self-inquiry, which was me. I get it. Karma yoga is a pain in the ass. Has to do with surrender. Um, Upadesha Saram is the only systematic thing that Ramana wrote. And yeah, people don't want to practice it. They want to chant it, which is really funny if you think about it. It's sad, actually, if you think about it. Um, yeah, karma yoga, then bhakti yoga, then raja yoga, then self-inquiry. Anyone doesn't teach the systematic process of preparing the mind for self-inquiry, I consider them poison, sheer poison. And I would advise anyone to not, uh, as I've shared many times, took me to the brink of insanity. Thank you so much for dropping by, and hope this was helpful. Thank you.